Hey everyone. So I had an idea for something, and it's an idea that nobody is going to like. No one's going to take it as a suggestion, and no, I don't think it's going to happen. I think it's got a 2 in 100 chance of happening. But I was thinking, as you guys know, as the first video that I did, talking about the tournament. While I'm not someone who will give this tournament an F. I mean, I can't really say I'm impressed so far, and hopefully things will change. So, the PokeTuber, Charisaru, he made a video about the Ash vs. Steven match coming up, and he did an excellent job, per usual. And cannot praise this guy enough, by the way. But anyway, the point is, during his video, he had brought up, if you look at one of the screen stills, that Ash calls back one of his Pokemon. It hasn't fainted. And that is incredible for this. Like, really, any tournament or any battle, you should expect this. But, as we're all aware, that's been a problem with this tournament. Static battles, very lazily animated, game mechanics, no dodging, no calling a Pokemon back. And these are the 8 strongest trainers in the world, blah, 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 blah. So because they might be turning that around with the Steven match and onward, which is what I was hoping for at the very least for the semifinals and the final battle, these should be the best battles we ever see in the franchise. Maybe things will turn around. But up through now, I'd have to say I'm feeling almost like giving this whole tournament so far like a D average. Some might say it's hard, some may agree. The point that I'm getting at today with this video, though, is because I have up through now been so unhappy with this tournament, I was thinking something that I know won't happen. Again, the odds are 2 out of 100, but I think it's a good idea. So just hear me out. What if they changed our expectations for things? So I know a lot of people just inferring things were able to deduce that Diantha would defeat Lance by the time the battle happened. I was pretty sure of it too. But at first, and many other people were like, oh, that's predictable. Kind of like Cynthia versus Iris. Kind of like Leon versus Alana. And obviously Ash versus Steven. Lance is going to win this. It was pleasant to see that this wasn't some one-track thing. We're stuck in this one-way direction. All right, what am I getting at? So, what if it's a good battle, but Ash were to lose to Steven, and while they're at it, have Cynthia or Diantha defeat Leon and completely upset our expectations? Now, again, I'm not expecting that. But hear me out. First of all, it'd be kind of cool for there to be no predictability. And because I've been so upset with this tournament and how they're treating what should and seems like to be the last part of Ash's journey, and in general, a lot of people have been happy with how Journeys has been executed, and we're crunching time for things like Project Mew and other things. What if Ash loses here and they wrap up stuff with Journeys? Now here's the thing. Because Galar was neglected with Journeys, it shows the writers don't care anymore about giving proper amount of time to certain regions. I mean, the Hisuian story only got 4 parts, and it wasn't even a go back in time thing, just passing reference. So there's a few things. I think it's very possible. Like back in the 90s in the United States, I know it was 2 different companies doing it, how there were 2 Sonic the Hedgehog shows. What if they do want to do Gen 9 anime, if it's not a limited time release, which the writers have shown they're willing to do, and they did a whole different story, alternate universe, different trainer, fine, and Ash loses here, he's crushed. And we've been rooting for our boy to get to this point. You see all these cameos, but he loses this tournament. And 1 year in real life, so 52 episodes, we see him montage and get better, and what we've wanted all this time. He does use his reserves. We even see some of his unevolved Pokemon that have never evolved, like Gible or Totodile, go up at least one level with the evolution chain. What if we actually did get a much longer, non-rushed tournament with actual good battles, and they can properly wrap up loose ends with things like the Team Rocket organization? Again, I can't imagine the Rocket Trio following around and harassing some other trainer, and it's too much of a loose end. Giovanni has been an on-off character, but they've been developing him as this menace. And the lid finally came off in Unova, but the lid was put back on with Kalos, and it's been boiling since. They don't have enough time to properly wrap the story up. And I don't think it would be wise to continue Ash's story after the tournament, unless you're going with the formula I'm talking about. So what if we had a whole year, maybe about 10 episodes, wrapping up the Team Rocket stuff properly and seeing Ash montage with old friends of his who came out to root for him, only to see him lose, or watch him at least. By the way, with this redo of the tournament that I would be talking about, all of his friends would be in the tournament cheering for him, and past one-off characters that people like that he ran into. I know it was a cliche back in the day with the dub when they'd always say, "We'll meet again" to random character of the day. I don't know if that was in the original Japanese dialogue. But what if we got this? What if we actually had the tournament done properly and, see Ash go through all this? I also, for the longest time, when I thought something like this was more likely to happen, I always felt so with Sinnoh, I forget his name, but the Elite Four member who brought up how there's a champion league. I always figured, okay, that makes sense. You fight the Elite Four, if you're the regional league victor, then you fight a champion and you're the champion. But how do you go from champion to best in the world? And I figured at the time there was like a super champion tournament where the champions fought the regional Elite Fours of the other regions and those champions. I was pretty sure they were going to go with that. And the writers decided to go with this tournament that had never been brought up once before. Fine. Very weird retconning there. But this should have been much better than it has been over the last 3 years. So what if they just do it right with 1 year and we have a much longer tournament that are very good battles, 3-4 parters, 6v6 each. This would be incredible. And also, it will give us time to actually see his friends off. I don't like seeing his friends come back, like Iris as a champion, or back in the day, May as the princess or queen or something of Hoenn, and she's got a super strong team now, and we didn't see it. It's going all the way back to Brock and Misty, and they have big jumps. We have this thing where Ash's travel companions are beginners, and we see a little bit of growth, but when they're off screen, it's like, oh yeah, they're great now. That should have been part of a 1 year, story where we saw these things. I would like to see a very good grand festival where one of Ash's festival companions comes out on top. They find a graceful way to retire the other two, whatever they end up doing, even if they're as happy as regional champions. We do have to have a number one. Anyway, that never happened. We briefly saw Serena show up and not even compete like in a real contest, etc., all these things. So what if they had a chance to redo this? And the excuse is everyone's thinking Ash has got this, but he doesn't. He doesn't even get past Steven. It's not that I want to see the guy suffer, but he really does some soul searching for 2 episodes. The last time we had something like that was the one in Kalos where he lost the 8th gym match the first time, and he was sulking. I distinctly remember in Sinnoh when Dawn had a lot of good beginner's luck, and her mom was, a top coordinator, and she thought things would be easy. And then, what was it? A second or third time she didn't win. She didn't even get past the qualifying round, and it just broke her. And she had to talk to, episodes later, she talked to Maylene, got her confidence back. I'd like to see that growth with Ash. And with this rushed tournament and what's been overall a misguided 3 years of our time, none of this ever should have been filler time. Yeah. It's funny too because over the last few weeks, I've had a lot of time to think about, particularly things that I don't like about this tournament. And I have usually been someone who has defended the good things with Journeys, and there have been good things. Up through the tournament, since last January, it would be like one episode out of every 8. So for the last 6 months, wasn't very good. Everything has been top notch since. The Lily episode where she finds her dad, probably the best episode in the franchise. We've had a lot of really good ones, and I think the returns have been better than some people give it credit for. Overall, the series is not the disaster fire pit that some people have said, but now that we're nearing the end of it, I'm thinking, yeah, it isn't. But what is that final grade I'm going to give it? Not very good, even though we've had some very good lopsided stuff in the meantime. Anyway, I'm kind of ranting. What I'm getting at is it would be cool if Ash lost. We had a very good year of solid, non-filler stuff to send everyone off, and he actually battles properly in this tournament next time. The ultimate Rocky moment, Anyway, probably no takers there. Never get comments on these. If you'd like to share a comment, go ahead. If you agree with me, I'd love to, not feel like I'm just talking to myself here. Just let me know. Have a good one.